9 to 5 has been the boogeyman for the average man for the better half of the past century. The nightmare that haunts people's dreams at night. Or I guess you could say, the dream killer. Yeah, this shit sucks, man, and nobody wants to do it. Unfortunately, I do have a 9 to 5 that I work, but at the same time, I'm very fortunate to have that 9 to 5 because I need money. And given the circumstances that are going on in the country right now, that being the United States with the job market, things are not looking the best. And I think a lot of people can back me up on that. But I know a lot of people are saying, down with the man, quit your job, become the person you want to be, which, hey man, I'm totally all about that. But let's look at the unfortunate circumstances that come with doing that. People have families, people have bills, people need groceries. What do all those things have in common? You guessed it, money. I know. It might sound crazy, but that is the sad reality that we live in. Unfortunately, many of these things are also skyrocketing in price, and wages are stagnating. Rich are getting richer and pushing more people to work harder and longer just to achieve freedom in life. So when you see these people online telling you to quit your job like this,
to take action, baby. Get your ass up. There's time for us and there's time for action. Right now, it's time for action. Let's get going. Let's get moving. If you don't want to do something, ask yourself if that's actually something you want to do. If it's not, change it. Do something else. Do something that you're passionate about. Life is too short to be doing things that you don't like to do. Go after whatever your heart desires. If it's a boy, career path, a freaking donut, I don't know. Go and quit if I get it. At the end of the day, we all gonna die, so might as well just do what you like to do.
I seriously always question, well, first of all, are you a trust fund baby? But second of all, how plausible is that really for the vast majority of people? Because let me tell you, it's really not. I want to look at my own personal situation, and I am in pretty good standing with everything in life right now. I can technically probably afford to leave my job, but why would I in today's climate? The job market is in absolute shambles, which is a video for a complete different day. I may make it later on this week. We'll see. But come on, man. McDonald's cheeseburger is going to cost you $99.99 with a monthly subscription in 2054. I need to keep stacking this cash to get that compound interest going and get my house situation in order, and overall lower my expenses as much as possible. Because like I said, with the whole McDonald's cheeseburger costing you $99.99, that's the way we're going with fucking everything, I feel like. And we may see some sort of crash, but I doubt it. And even if there is a crash, this country has been climbing and climbing and climbing. Yeah, we've seen our downfalls, but things have just gotten more and more expensive as we have progressed as a country. Sadly, it seems like people are stuck in this never-ending revolving door chasing the same thing, which is financial freedom. I feel like it always boils down to the freedom aspect of things, however you want to define that. My version of freedom might be a whole lot different from yours. It just depends on what you want to do, but at the same time, it's really not that different. We all just want to escape the man, and have some control over our finances. It's seriously a big problem in today's society with people racking up thousands of dollars worth of credit card debt and being chased down by debt collectors, really pushing their life further and further back and putting themselves into a bigger hole than they were before, which is going to cause them to be having to work into their 70s, 80s, and even maybe 90s if they make it that far because they can't afford to retire. I was having a conversation with my coworker. He is in his 70s right now, but is still working. I've known him for the better part of 5 years while working at this spot that I'm at right now. And let me tell you, given his whole situation, I wasn't too sure why he still works, because he could have retired around 20 years ago. But he told me that he likes working, that he enjoys the social aspect of it. He told me that he feels free because he chooses to go to work. Man paid off his house 20 years ago, has 3 kids, a wife, all the bells and whistles. So of course he's not going to feel any stress because he's not pressed to go to work like the vast majority of us. And he's got money in the bank, man. That Social Security is hitting fucking hard. So he doesn't really have to give a fuck, but the vast majority of us do need to give a fuck because we are not in that position yet, nor will we be possibly. So the whole reason I'm bringing this up is, first of all, his mentality is a great mentality to have towards the 9 to 5, but people need to go to their 9 to 5s and not choose to or want to go to their 9 to 5. I feel like this is his mentality because he does choose to come to work. He doesn't really need the money. Again, he's doing this for the social aspect. Now, for point 2, given his age, and I'm not trying to take any credit away from him because I'm sure as shit that his path was pretty hard to get to where he was, but I feel like it's not as hard as the path that us millennials or Gen Z or whatever are about to walk. I feel like his walk was a lot more straightforward than ours is. Because, I mean, if you look at the prices of everything when he was at my age being around 30, and look at the wage comparison, it was very manageable to actually afford to live very well and freely. I'll throw a comparison up on the screen just so you guys can see. I'm sure that if you're watching this video, you have some knowledge about how screwed up cost of living is, but being able to buy a house with a 1-year salary, afford to have multiple kids, and give them an actual good life, be able to retire at a very respectable age, that's what his generation was all about. That is what they got. That was the hand that they were dealt. With everything said, I feel like this is a generational thing for sure. People in his generation grew up to like work, to raise a family, to buy a house, retire, the actual American dream. Not what we're going through with our whole current 9 to 5 situation, with our cost of living problem. Everything is just fucked. I don't know how it is in other countries, but here in good old freedom land, things are getting more and more predatory. Subscriptions are everywhere, inflation rising faster than pay. Then there's AI on top of that, taking over jobs, pushing the bar up for people just trying to get employed or people looking to take that next step in their career. It feels like careers are just becoming more and more saturated with complete bullshit now, almost pretending to work than actually do something. It feels so draining at my job nowadays because 70% of my days, probably even more than that, 70% seems pretty generous, is filled with complete bloat. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below because I feel like I can do my job in around 2 hours and fuck off the rest of the day. And I think a lot of people will agree with me on that. I bet you anything that this becomes even worse as we progress because we naturally are becoming more advanced with AI and automation. I feel like this will eventually just push humans out completely, but that's a battle and topic for another day. Sometimes I feel like AI is a little bit bloated, but you can genuinely see automation slowly taking over just from looking at the 1940s all the way up to where we are now. We have car factories that are using machines rather than people. Customer service is completely getting taken over. I believe a lot of coding is being done by AI now and so on and so forth. But again, that's another topic for another day. Automation will just keep accelerating. More people's jobs will fill a bloat or just be completely lost. So buckle in because that's what we have to look forward to in the future. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like the whole illusion of the 9 to 5 is a complete fucking lie. If you're in the corporate world, you are lucky to only be stuck there for 8 hours. I hear some people are working turbo overtime, 60 to 80 hours a week, and are just getting stuck in the salary trap, only making 50 to 60K a year. Don't get me wrong, you can make a decent life out of that money if you're living frugally, but 60 to 80 hours, that's just brutal. That's just ain't it, man. But let me let you in on a little secret. These companies do not care as long as they can make their numbers by the end of each quarter and keep your wages as low as possible. That is all that matters to them. These big corporate companies are not your friend. You are simply just another number in the system and a liability at that. Now, this might be a hot take, but I feel like all this is being pushed from the stock market. Think about it. If you are a company on the stock market, what is the goal? Yeah, push that bitch up to the top. Keep it green, which means quote unquote improvements every single year. This is causing mass burnout among the masses working for these companies, which just means cut costs, and cut more costs. Yeah, your coworker Thomas who you worked with for 4 years? Yeah, he's gone. And guess what? You get a 5% raise and 30 more hours worth of work because guess what? You're doing Thomas's job now. Work-life balance? What the hell is that? No, you're just a slave to the game, my friend. It's all about them dollar signs for these companies nowadays. Keeping the investors happy. Obviously, it's always been like that, but it feels that way more than ever now. Even looking back to when we were kids, we went to school 7 hours a day doing mindless things. I guess it was a way of preparing us to be drones in the working world. College to put us in debt so we can work longer and longer and longer. I know this sounds like doom and gloom, but it's the damn truth. Now to shift gears a little bit, COVID exposed a huge thing with these white collar jobs, and that's that work can be done in a remote setting. I know, 2025, we have webcams, we have these crazy ass computers, we have Teams, we have all this shit, right? But these companies are reverting back to their old ways, or they stuck to their old ways to begin with. It seems like all the remote jobs are starting to be closed off. Everybody's starting to return to the office if they weren't in the office already now. This is causing more people to waste time commuting in the morning and afternoon, wasting more time out of their already limited day. If everyone had the flexibility to work remote, we can get multiple things done during the day that we personally need to take care of. Yet these old wigs think their outdated go to work 8 hours plus a day agenda is still needed in modern society. Now I know there's going to be somebody down in the comment section that just does not agree with remote work, and they're going to be like, oh, well, you go to work 8 hours a day so you get the job done. You should be working the whole entire time. Dude, like I just said, it's full of fucking bloat. 70 to 90% of our days are just full of bloat. I could be doing my fucking laundry, but instead I'm just sitting there surfing the internet. It is literally proven that people who work remote are more productive and more happier at the end of the day. Probably because they don't need to pretend to be busy and they can actually get some of their much needed chores done. I know. This is crazy, but we have a life outside of work. But yet these companies don't want you to have a life outside of work. Now, I feel like this will all eventually fizzle out and remote jobs will become the new norm, but time will tell if that's the truth. One more crazy, stupid thing that people are spending more time with their coworkers than they are with their actual own family or loved ones. Tell me that isn't some bullshit. Listen, man, I like my coworkers, but I sure as shit don't like them as much as my girlfriend, or shit, even the cat that screams in the middle of the night waking me up at least 7 times. Listen, I have the cat up on the screen. He's a good boy. He's ugly as shit, but he's a good boy. Good news is that it seems like my generation, that being the Zillennial, Millennial, Gen Z hybrid, I guess you can call it, whatever, we are waking up to this reality of this, and we are taking action slowly. People are starting side hustles of things they actually enjoy in life and finding ways to monetize it, which, by the way, you don't need to monetize your hobbies. It's not necessary, and I actually think it can lead to some negative effects, but nonetheless, people are starting side hustles on this. Society is getting more and more creative as the newer generations get older, yet the system doesn't want us to succeed, but eventually we will be the system, and we will be writing the rules rather than the old wigs who are writing the system currently. I feel like the mold will break with the rise of automation, forcing people into a more creative space of thinking. Maybe, who knows, here in the next 10 years, this video will have aged horribly and the 9 to 5 will cease to exist, but I wouldn't count on it or look forward to it. Anyways, I'll probably make a follow-up video on this at some point because this is such a large topic and I kind of just went onto a few details, but I feel like I need to talk about it, especially in today's age. In conclusion, the 9 to 5 is a complete joke. Shit was developed in the 20s and it's 2025, a over 100-year difference. It's time for society to wake up and change something. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you for listening to me yap. If you could think about subscribing, liking the video, that'd be much appreciated. I'll throw some videos up on the end screen for you guys to go and check out if you want to. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.